The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call Alfred Nara.
Mr Speaker, it's a surprise that that member would actually go back to the 2014 election, especially when that party, the Labour Party, had the worst result at 25% of its party votes, the worst result in 92 years. So for that member to turn around and talk about this government and its policy, that's right, look, hey, as Annette King said, in 2002, we'll own that. So we'll own our history, but at the same time too, you might want to talk to that member so that she owns her history as well. 25%, 92 years, how about you own that as well, all right? Because I don't hear them saying about there. So let's talk about this brighter future, but let's put the member out of her misery, right? The truth is, the government won't support this bill, right? So that's the truth of it. The government won't support this bill, and here's the reasons why we won't support this bill, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill is attempting to increase, obviously, the income threshold for those who are seeking to earn before their benefit rate and to reduce by abatement rates. And this is the attempt by the member to so-called solve the issues and the problems of those in our communities, the poverty issues, those who are struggling. This is not the silver bullet. This won't solve things. And Mr. Speaker, here's the reasons why, because this is what this government is doing. Under the welfare reforms, we've reduced the expected future time on main benefits by an average of 1.2 years for sole parents, 2.8 years for youth beneficiaries. If we're talking about the results of what this government is doing to be able to increase or to decrease those who are benefit dependent, these are the things that we're doing. We reduce the expected cost of supporting current beneficiaries over their lifetime by $7.5 billion a year. There are 42,500 fewer kids living in benefit-dependent homes compared with 2012. And that's right, Miss Annette King is on record as saying that when the children were in poverty and their time as a Labour government of 9 years, it was a job unfinished, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Lees-Galloway.
Fascinating to hear the member talking about the previous Labour government again, but I'd like to hear about the bill.
Well, OK. Well, there's a bit of latitude with the mover of the bill, so I'm listening carefully. Order, I'm on my feet, and I'm listening very carefully. Alfred Nara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We know the truth hurts. We know the truth hurts, and that's what's coming forward here. Because why? Because we know when we're talking about this bill, a pathway to work. We know when the member was talking about 305,000 children in poverty, we know that Miss Annette King, in talking about poverty in regards to a pathway to work and an opportunity, her words, a job unfinished. But that's not the goal of this government. The goal of this government is to finish the job, to increase the opportunities that are there for our families that are dependent. There are 7.2% fewer single-parent families dependent on welfare since this time last year. 19,000 fewer compared to 3 years ago. That's right. Here are the facts, because I'm just going to speak them. They're hard to accept, I know. We are moving closer to the tougher, better public service target of 25% reduction. That's 295,000 people at June 2014 to 220,000 at June 2018. Mr. Speaker, these are the efforts, these are the reasons why when we look at this bill will not support what we believe, those that are on benefits, those are sole parents who are wanting to transcend to part-time work and into full-time work. By increasing this threshold, Mr. Speaker, we believe we already have that provision there. If you're a job seeker, there are $80 in which you can earn before the rebatements actually come into place. If you're on a sole parent supported living, it's $100, Mr. Speaker. We know that's making a difference. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to summarise just with one example. If you are a 25-year-old and if you work 31 years on minimum wage, Mr. Speaker, okay, you will still be eligible for a benefit. And that's the reason why, Mr. Speaker, we believe that the threshold rates that we have are sufficient. They're balanced. We know that they make the difference. This bill, even by increasing to $150, Mr. Speaker, does not meet what we believe are the targets for reform for our families that are in need, Mr. Speaker. We do not support this bill in the House.
Mr. Speaker.
Lees-Galloway.
Well, that was a poor